Welcome back to Work, Wisdom, and Wonder. I am doing week 6 of Can I Learn Hebrew in 14 Weeks? And this week is vocab week. That's right, vocabulary. I am realizing that I'm much slower on translations and much slower in a lot of different areas because I just am not keeping up with the vocab. So I'm going to take a whole week. I'm not reading any new chapters. I'm just going through and I'm actually going to try to work ahead on the vocab. So I'm 6 weeks in, so not quite halfway through the challenge, and I want to ultimately have about 1,000 vocab words that I'm able to do. So in order to get there, I need, well, another 750 maybe 700. So the goal is this week, we're going to just go vocab like crazy. That's the plan. So in order to do that, first, I have to get some flashcards. Why flashcards? Because I'm going to write them down. And then I'm also going to use these cards and this reader's Bible to get me to have some extra time where I'm like, I'm not translating, I'm just learning new words. Every time I find a new word, I'm going to write it down. I'm going to put it on these cards. I'm going to put them in groups of 3, 4, 5. And I'm just going to go through lots and lots and lots. And we'll have a couple of different ones where I'll just be like writing words over and over again. So it's going to be a little bit tedious, but I'm going to try to make this video as interesting as possible for you by having some different stuff going on. So first things first, I'm going to Target to get flashcards. I'll meet you there. All right, Target, let's go. I'm going to try not to get hit by a car. That's the plan. Because, you know, I've heard getting hit by a car is bad for your health. Need school supplies. Hey, here we go. Yep, getting some of these. Run successful. I'm going to Springs Preserve today. That is the plan. Game plan. Yes, that's for all of my friends out there who apparently tell me that I remind them of Ryan Trahan. I don't know why. Anyway, I'm at Springs Preserve. I've plugged my car in. It's going to be great. I'm going to go to the cafe, which is awesome. This week, all of the vocab. I can't walk back and forth or I'll leave the frame. The lighting's pretty bad, but that view is totally worthwhile. All right, before I do this, I have a red-eye coffee and a bacon and egg Havarti sandwich. Not very keto friendly, but that's okay. I'm going to destroy this and then get back to work. All right, ran through one stack already, and I'm gonna switch stacks of cards here, and then we're going to jump into the next group. Let's go. All right, we are back at Grouchy John's. I'm going through, I have this other book of vocab. I'm gonna make some additional cards from this book as well to go with the cards I've been making in the others. So we're just gonna, I'm making more cards. Today it's pretty much making all the cards. Okay, I've made a lot of cards today. I actually want to make more cards tomorrow because I'm going to try to get down pretty low. And what I mean by that is I have a list of vocab words that are listed by how often they actually come out in the Hebrew Bible. So, for instance, words that exist 500 times or less, 200 times or less, 100 times or less. And you can imagine that as as you get fewer instances of a word existing, you have more words in that group. So for instance, something like asher, which is like that or which, is going to happen thousands of times. But a specific name like Saul is closer to like the 200 range. And then there are like 10,000 words that only occur like once. So I'm not going to get down to that level, and that's fine. I don't need to. But it would be good to get down to, in my recommendation, by the end of this 14 weeks, to get down to where any word that occurs 50 times or more, I know. So that's what I mean by trying to get down in vocab. I want to get more words, so I get down. I think I'm not going to get all the way down to 50 this week. That's the goal by the end of the 14 weeks. We're not even halfway through my studies at this point. We're on week 6, but I'm deep diving on it because the further I get in this week of just focusing on vocab, the easier the translations and the grammar and everything else will become because I know the words. I also will then have the opportunity to talk to my teacher and get just expanded understanding, like I did today, about some of the semantic range of terms, as well as some cultural stuff. So like, for instance, in my last video, I said incorrectly. My Western mindset was showing when I was talking about the famine devouring the land, because I was like, oh, well, obviously the famine doesn't have a mind. And biblically, and thinking from a Near Eastern perspective, they wouldn't look at famine or natural disasters or even sickness or any of these things as impersonal. There is no such thing as an impersonal force in their culture. So it is completely natural for them to say, yeah, the famine has some sort of personal force behind it and is therefore acting as an agent. The joy of being wrong. Like, I learned something new and get to look at the world in a different way now, and that's awesome. So when we think about forces and events and these kinds of things, there is never an impersonal event. There's never an impersonal occurrence. Nothing is just happening without some sort of agent behind it. Either God has done it or God has allowed it to be done through agents and mechanisms. Okay, I'm done for today at Grouchy John's. I'm going to head back and all right, it is day 2. And I already made a whole bunch more flashcards, but I'm not going to show you that because, let's be honest, making more flashcards is like just kind of very slow and boring to watch. I'm going to just make all the cards so that I have them, and then I'm going to use this thing. This Hebrew vocab deck of 1,000 cards that is 1,200 words that is supposed to be representative of all words that show up at least 50 times. So it's going to be my test at the end. So I'm building my list from a different list of cards and from the books that I'm doing. And there's some overlap and there's some duplication, and that's okay. And then at the very end, this will be my vocab test. Right now, I'm actually gonna go make more cards. I probably won't show you a whole bunch of me making more cards because it's kind of lame. Many words have really intriguing associations. So, for example, to give, right? So natan is to give. But one of the ways that natan is used is actually a little strange. It's used to like designate someone as something. So when Joseph's brothers come to him, he says that they are spies and then sends them home to Jacob. And they tell Jacob that the man who was in charge and was the master of the land, Natan, right? He gave us spies. Now, if I translate it, gave us spies, that seems weird. Well, like he handed them spies, like, here you go, have some spies. No, Natan has a broader semantic range. It's more like just sending out from, designated, giving. So there's more to it. So it would be closer to say that he designated us as spies. But I'm gonna go make more note cards. I will get a little bit of footage, but let's be real. You don't want to watch me make note cards for 20 minutes. I don't want you to want me to watch you. I don't want you to want to watch me make note cards. I don't know. Words are hard. This stack is 101. That stack's 100, so that's 201, 301. This stack is actually only 96, so that's 397. 397. And then this stack here is a total of 280. So 397 plus 280 is 597 plus 80 is 677. So right now I have 677 words here on these cards. The eventual goal for me is to get to 1,000. Actually 1,200 would be like ideal, but 1,000 is really the goal. I'm more than halfway if I finish these this week. Don't know if I will, but we're gonna, now that I've got the cards made, I can go through them. I'm starting to do audio versions where I just like read the word and stuff. So those are things that I can listen to like while I'm driving or whatever else. So these are all of the words that are represented by down to 100, not down to 50, but down to 100. So all of the words that exist at least 100 times in scripture. For right now, I think this is a good start. We're still not even halfway through this 14-week series, and I'm gonna try to get through this. All right, vocab week continues. We are basically halfway through right now. It's Sunday afternoon. Great time at church this morning. We'll have more time of fellowship this afternoon/evening. But first, I'm going to take some extra time to do more vocab. We're going back to Grouchy John's because it's near where we're going to do some other stuff this evening. To Grouchy John's, who I still haven't met and have heard isn't that grouchy. All right, it's time to end today. Oh, my hand hurts from writing. Even though it's vocab week, I'm actually just going to read a little bit this morning. It's Monday. I've got a couple days left to get through, 650 Hebrew words, but I'm going to try to read this reader. Let's go. All right, so I didn't actually do much studying this afternoon at all. I actually just scheduled out chapters to be released for my fantasy novel, or one of my fantasy novels that's going out on the Sibilant Sword, which is on now moved to Substack. I feel like I need to step back a little from the Hebrew. I still have my goal of 14 weeks, but I needed a day, a half day, whatever, to kind of like let my mind not reset. I still want to keep Hebrew in my head, but I don't want to be burning myself out. So that's what I did. I worked on some of my other writing, scheduled out some stuff for my Substack of Ash and Art as well, where I write about theology and life and kind of personal stories and stuff. Time for the halfway test. The baby is here! Okay, so the end of vocab week is also the day that my fourth niece is born. So she was born today, so that's gonna slow me down a little bit on vocab because let's be honest, I need to help my sister and my brother-in-law. Family's gotta take priority. So doing a food run, doing a couple of different things, but vocab week is basically over. I didn't get as far as I wanted to. I definitely don't have 677 memorized, but I have exposure to all of them. I would say I'm probably closer to about 300, 350. And this is where we are. So it's been great. It's been awesome. It is a beautiful end to the week as well. Getting to see the baby, healthy mom, everything's going well. So blessings to you, and I will see you next week for week 7 of Can I Learn Hebrew in 14 Weeks.